MPs have warned today that the Post Office is not fit to handle compensation for victims of the Horizon IT scandal. In their report, the Business and Trade Committee also say it's a disgrace that victims of the scandal are still waiting for proper financial redress. With us now, former Sub-Postmaster Tim Brentnall, who ran a post office in Roach in Pembrokeshire. Hello, Tim.
Hello, good afternoon.
Tim, I feel as though I've read that introduction a million times, that people are still waiting for proper financial redress. Where does this sit now, then, that the MPs have said that the Post Office isn't fit to handle the compensation? Does that move things along for you?
I'd hope so. I mean, my conviction was quashed back in 2021, and at that point you think, right, well, things are going to start moving. But so far, I'm 3 years into building a claim and negotiating with the Post Office, and still haven't seen any proper redress. So anything that moves it forward at a pace greater than I've experienced so far is good news. What
did you think when you were first told that the Post Office would be handling these claims and the payouts? Did that seem a suitable method to you when you first heard about it?
It seemed really unfair to me because I was suspended, prosecuted and sacked by the Post Office back in 2010. I had a criminal record for the last decade, and they fought us in the Alan Bates trial completely and tried to deny us justice for years and years. And then once my conviction gets quashed, I have to sort of go back cap in hand to the Post Office and ask them to deal with sorting out the redress that I'm due.
Yeah. Effectively saying, well, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this to me, so pay me this, which is an unbelievable situation to be in. Tim, how do you quantify what happened to you? Because it took you over a decade to clear your name. I guess you had difficulties within the community and maybe within your family as well. So where do you begin?
Yeah, it's a very hard thing to quantify. And that's why it's taken my legal team 3 years to build my claim, because the Post Office is owned by the government. The Treasury sort of insists that they have to get value for money on any compensation or redress. There's no sort of amount of goodwill or generosity into it. And we have to try and justify every single penny that we're claiming for.
I guess what an unintended consequence of all this by the MPs, who obviously want to speed everything up, is that actually, if anyone took them up on this and stopped the Post Office handling it, somebody else, another body, might have to go back to square one.
Yeah, that's what I and people in my position that are 3 or 4 years down the line fear. We've been waiting for a long time, and the last thing that anybody needs is more delay. I mean, I'm still relatively young, in my early 40s. A lot of people in the same position of me, they're way past retirement age, and a number of people have died already before they've even got their compensation. So we can't have anything that delays it. People really need to be sorted out as quickly as possible.
Where's your life at the moment, Tim? You've been through all that. Have you got it back on a level footing?
Well, I've managed to repair a lot of relationships with my family and things, and in the local community since my conviction was quashed. But I've been unable to move on because the conviction and the removal of the Post Office ruined my retail business. That actually closed a few years ago. I'm kind of stuck in limbo, waiting for them to compensate me properly. I have had some small interim payments, but that's also starting to almost feel like crumbs from the table. We're sort of being led along a path when we need the proper amount so we can move on.
Well, look, good luck, Tim. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim Brentnall. They're just one of the many sub-postmasters waiting for justice from the Post Office. 5:21.